Hello everybody, welcome to Creative Chess channel, and today we are going to have a look at the game between Fischer and Larsen, played in 1958, where Fischer showed us with all his brilliancy how to play against a classical dragon. Fischer, of course, was playing white. Now usual moves: main line, knight f6, knight c3 and g6. This is the classical dragon. It's very often used still nowadays, and that's why we should know how to meet this classical dragon. So bishop e3, bishop g7 was played by his opponent. Here, guys, please remember a trap. If, for example, black decided to attack you, because this bishop is very important for white, we already winning, so white is winning here, playing just bishop to b5. What is the idea? Here we are making check, so they need to protect somehow. Of course, if they protect with the knight, we'll just take, for example, take, and you see we are losing here, black is losing. And if, for example, they protect the king with the bishop, then unexpectedly we can just take the knight, because black can't take us, it's the pin. And actually black is losing a piece and the game +6 in white's favor. So okay, let's return. So just be aware, with this jump of the knight it's impossible. That's why, of course, bishop to g7 was played, f3, castle, and queen d2. It's clear that white is going to castle queenside, and we'll have a typical structure where white has castled queenside and black has castled kingside. But before, Fischer move, favorite move of Fischer, bishop to c4. He liked playing this in Sicilian, in Classical Dragon. Bishop is really very nice here, because you see that he's attacking the king. Black played took, and here bishop to e6. So black wants to exchange the bishops. And maybe it's a great idea. It seems that why not to take, because we are doubling the pawns, but actually it's better not to have such structure, because now white's position is maybe even equal, because this pawn is standing here, doesn't allow, for example, the knight to jump there, and these pawns are quite nasty, because they are protecting all these central squares, and don't give white to create counterplay, to create any attacks and good play. That's why Fischer, instead of taking and making the structure, just retreated to b3. Queen f5, and finally white castled. So guys, you should remember that it's we castle to different sides, king side and queen side. And what does it mean? It means that we need to attack with the pawns. We need to attack with the pawns and try to open the king, try to get rid of all these pawns. And of course, as black has this nasty bishop, we should exploit this and should also try to exchange, because this bishop, which is standing on g7, it's the best defender of the black king. And you see, following these ideas, black is playing b5, and now they want, of course, somehow to start attacking with the pawns, the black king, with the same idea of opening the white king. King b1, it's a usual move here, because in some cases we can bring, for example, the knight here, or just avoid all these pins, for example, on this, or checks on this diagonal. So king b1 is very often used here, and nearly in all games connected with the castle on different sides, you need to play king b1. It's a program move. So here it's interesting. Before was played, and now white has to decide whether to jump on d5 or to jump on e2. Fischer jumped on d5, and that's the best move here. What if to jump on e2? If to jump on e2, then black can take. In this case, guys, please remember it's very important here not to take with the a pawn. Though we know that it's very nice to capture the piece to the center. But here, when your king is castled to queen side, it's not great, because black can start immediate attack and easily open the file and penetrate into the white's camp. So that's why it's if he takes, we need definitely take with this pawn. In this case, it will be more difficult for black to start the same attack. And for example, rook f to d8 can be played. And you see, still position is quite nice for white. But at the same time, it's not that active. It's, I would say that it's a quality here already. That's why instead of playing more passive move, Fischer jumped on d5. Bishop d5 was taken. Bishop d5, rook a c8. Guys, it was very important moment of the game. And of course, black should have taken the bishop, of course. But instead, they, for no visible reason, they decided just to retreat with the rook and play rook a to c8. And since that moment, actually this was a losing move. And here white just ran away with the bishop. And have a look what's going on right now. So instead of taking, eliminating this very, very dangerous bishop, black just retreated with the rook, and white's position is becoming much better now. Rook to c7 was played. It's a mysterious move from one glance, but if we think deeper, we can understand that. What can black do to attack white? The only idea is to play a5 and a4. But before, you need to play queen to b5. But in this case, white can just take the pawn, and then we won't have this idea with playing a5, a4, and smashing the white king. This pawn is very important now. That's why black can't give it. That's why they protect it. But it's already time for white to start an attack, and immediately Fischer plays h4 because he wants to play h5 and try to open the black king. Queen b5. Yeah, here it's very important to understand. So we are going to attack. Definitely we'll play h5 without any hesitation. But what if black just stops us from this and plays h5? What should we do in this case? Because a lot of people would play and would try to stop our attack playing h5. Then, guys, close your eyes and play g4. Don't be afraid that, don't think that you are giving something. Actually, we try to open the king. So, okay, let's imagine that black would take. In this case, you play just h5, giving one more pawn. And if, for example, black takes the pawn, you play fg. Knight can jump to e4. Queen goes to e3. We are taking the knight. And if, for example, the knight comes back, then gh. You see, we have already made everything we wanted. We opened the file. h6 is coming. Actually, black position is completely lost. For example, h6 can be played. And if we take, queen goes to g3, you see that with each move we are making a lot of pressure on there. g7 bishop takes, knight g7, and rook to g1. We're going to checkmate. And after queen e5, queen h4, there is no protection from checkmate. So guys, if your opponent blocks you, Don't count the pawns. Pawns doesn't matter anything. We're not going for an end game for white here. That's why pawns cost nothing. We just try to open the king. End game here is almost impossible because it's either live or die. So, but okay, so instead of h5, black played queen to b5, and h5 was played. Rook f to c8, g, and g4. So another pawn is going into action. Yes, we open the file, but you see this great defender while standing there. It will be difficult to checkmate the black king. So g pawn is coming. It wants to attack the knight and to start a new wave of attack. a5. You see, black is also close. They need only one tempo, and then what to do with the bishop. But you know that in chess, one tempo can be a tragedy for one side and success for another side. Because while black only wants to play a4, white already plays g5. We are taking the knight. The knight jumped on h5, trying to stop the penetration of the white, but Fischer played rook h5. He's given an exchange. Again, the story is that if there was no this bishop, probably we won't have such a nice idea. But anyway, you should think about rook to h5 all the time. You should calculate this. But here's even worse, because after g6 you see that this pawn is pinned, and black would have a lot of problems. Gh, g6, e5, gf check, king goes to f8, and we need to retreat with the bishop, bishop to e3, and d5 was played. It's clear why black wants to capture the pawn on f7. They're trying to protect the position. Computer already shows +8 in white favor, and Fischer realized advantage very, very fast. So ed was played in the game. Rook took the pawn, d6, rook f6, bishop g5, and after queen b7, there was taken the rook, check, and d7, rook d8, and after queen goes to d6, Fischer went to d6, black resigned. So they resigned because here there is a forced checkmate in 6 moves. Okay, let's have a look. So how the game might have finished. Forced, everything is forced. Here you see white is going to checkmate black, and there is no way to protect. Check, and black just going to be checkmated. So you see that Fischer is a great teacher for us. We should learn from the best. And I hope you liked, guys, how Classical Dragon was crashed. So don't forget that you need to play h4, h5. So you see that if you castle different sides, don't forget to push the pawns, and don't be afraid to sacrifice one pawn in sometimes 2 pawns. Doesn't matter. We're not going for an end game. We're going to win or to lose. Better to win, of course, but you see here pawns don't count. We need to open the files and start attacking the black king. Okay, guys, hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube chess channel. See you in my next videos, and bye bye.